You literally never know what's gonna come out of your kid's mouth, right? So what do you do when they call somebody fat? We're gonna talk about it today. I'm Casey Barnes, registered dietitian, nutritionist, and mom of two, and I frequently talk about raising our kids with healthy body image and a healthy relationship with food. Today, I'm diving into how I recommend handling it when your little one asks about someone else's body weight or size. Make sure to hit subscribe and follow me for more tips on nutrition for toddlers. Okay, so you're out at the park or the mall, and we were at the park when this happened to me a few weeks ago. My son, in his loudest voice, says, "That guy is fat. Look, Mom, look how fat he is." So I, of course, feel embarrassed because I don't want this man to hear him and to feel badly about himself. But our kids, it's kind of the same for them as if they saw a big dog and they're like, "Look, Mom, that dog is big. That dog is so big." We would have no feeling about that. That would not be embarrassing. Like, usually that's just a normal thing. So remember, in the moment when they're saying something like that at a young age, it's usually just because they're making an observation. So for this particular thing, the way that we respond can actually help avoid perpetuating that cultural stigma around fatness. Avoid instilling in them this diet culture that tells them that whatever you do, don't be fat. Being fat is bad. Like, how long have we heard that, right? Okay, so what do you do in the moment? You can say to them, "Oh, you're noticing that body shape." Notice there's no associations with anything. Just, oh, you're making an observation. Because that really is what they are doing. They are simply making an observation about what they see. Then I would say something like, "You didn't know this, but people usually don't like when we comment on the way that their body looks. People like to be noticed for things that they do, like being a great friend or being really kind or having good listening ears." Those are things that we can make nice comments about other people. So I like to give them that alternate of, like, when we think about saying something about a person, let's think about something that they do, not what they look like. Then I would say, if you have a question about someone's looks, you can talk to me about it. When in reality, it's not such a black and white thing. They're too young to really understand all the shades of gray there. But in my opinion, at this age, it's better for them to learn, just don't comment on people's appearance in general to that person. Ask me about it, and maybe it's something where it is appropriate to ask. Like, I had a mom comment to me on Instagram and said, her daughter has a visual difference. I think she called it Lucky Fin, but she said, I actually prefer if people do ask instead of just kind of whispering about her and making her feel different. So I think, you have to read the situation, but for something where they're just commenting on somebody's body shape or size, or saying, "That mom has a baby in her belly." Many of us have been there where we don't have a baby in our belly. It doesn't really feel good for someone to say that. So I like them to think about other ways of things like, "This friend is so fun to be around," or, "Wow, he looks really fast," instead of commenting on their appearance. And even some people don't like to be called skinny, so this is really not just a fat thing. It's just about people like not really wanting to be noticed for what their body looks like, because we know that what their body looks like says nothing about who they are as a person. And I've heard from so many parents who can't stand when people comment on the size of their baby and toddler, whether it's big or small, because they are working so hard to feed them well, and they usually have no control over their little one's body size. It can feel really upsetting when someone's pointing out something that you're already feeling insecure about. What if your little one asks you, "Am I fat, Mom?" My response would be, "Everyone has fat on their bodies, sweetie, and you are perfectly made." People's bodies change over time. Sometimes they have more fat on them, sometimes they have less, sometimes they have more muscle on them, sometimes they have less. Some people have more fat on their bodies than others. What's most important is that we just take good care of our bodies and love our bodies and keep them healthy. That's not the only way that you can respond, but that's what I would say. If you have other ideas or more to add to that, let me know in the comments below. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, isn't it unhealthy to be fat? It's not that straightforward. And as a dietitian, I never care about the number on the scale. For babies and kids, I do care about the trends in their weight and making sure that they have adequate growth. But whether a child falls in the 10th percentile, the 50th percentile, or the 100th percentile for weight, that's not what tells us if they're healthy or not. What's more important to me is, what are the habits there? What kind of emotional, physical, or mental challenges are present, if any? Simply being fat is not inherently a bad thing, but we do want to address any underlying health challenges that are present no matter the size of the person. There's not necessarily going to be any issues simply because someone has more fat on their body. We have got to stop attaching shame to the idea of being fat. There's no reason to raise our kids with fear of becoming fat. I've talked to so many clients who have been overweight themselves in the past, currently, and they fear that for their little one, but not because of the fat itself. They fear it because of diet culture. That's the bigger issue here. Diet culture and what it ingrains in us, that being smaller is better. You have to weigh less to be worth more. Other people will only be interested in you romantically if you're smaller. None of that is true. Controlling what you put in your mouth has nothing to do with who you are or how much you are worth. And I think a lot of people grow up thinking, I can't love myself unless I'm thin. That's not something that we want our kids to grow up with, because it's just not true. They can love themselves at any size. So to circle back, responding to this comment about someone's body size, someone's body shape is one thing that we can do to help prevent them from going forward fearing their body becoming a certain way. A lot of the times, the things that we fear most end up controlling us the most. So let's just call it what it is. It's a body shape, it's a body size. You're noticing that person's body. We're not attaching anything to that. It's a simple visual observation. If you'd be interested in learning more about raising your kids with healthy body image, a healthy relationship with food, and keeping diet culture out of your home, comment below or simply like this video and I will share more.